Hey guys, Gore here. Welcome back to the channel. One of the most common things I see in regards to new players being scared to try out squad leading is some confusion with the strategic things like hab placement and squad movement, but what I see far more often is people worried about the mental side of squad leading. Things like being overwhelmed, being scared of making the wrong decisions, not knowing how to keep a group of randoms together, and so on. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the mental side of squad leading and what you can do as either an existing or brand new squad leader to keep a cool head and keep from getting too overwhelmed or lost. Before we do get started, if you enjoy my content over here on YouTube, consider checking out the live streams sometimes where I stream a ton of squad amongst other games. And if you're watching this video within a few hours of release, I'm live right now. Come on by for a bit or just to say hello. Now, let's get into things. By far, the most common concern I hear from players that don't know if they want to dip their toe into squad leading or not is the stress of the role. I am not going to sugarcoat this. Squad leading can be stressful as all hell, but there are a plethora of things that you can do to mitigate a lot of that stress, and oh my, when games come together and you pull off some incredible feats, it's a unique feeling knowing that you are at the reins of the team's success. The first source of stress is, what is my actual mission? Many new squad leaders don't know where to go at the start of games or how to react when they end up in the wrong place, usually causing them to fall apart quite quickly. Firstly, take a breath and understand that squad games aren't a sprint, but a marathon. So you went to the wrong area for the first 10 minutes of the game. So what? You've still got another 30 to 50 plus minutes to get your squad into a good position. Doing one thing wrong isn't the end of the world unless you let it be. Every good squad leader has had to make a ton of mistakes to get to where they are today, and they made it there because they learned from them and were able to adjust. That talk is all good and heartwarming, but it still doesn't answer your question of where the hell do I go at the start of games? Well then, let's answer that. First, open up your map. Look at where your main is and where the enemy main is. Draw a line cutting the map in half based on main placement. Go somewhere on your side of the line, preferably in a town or something that looks like a point of interest. And if that's too complicated, then just ask your squad mates or fellow SLs. There's always going to be other players that have more experience than you as a new squad leader, so ask over squad comms or command comms where you should take your squad and then go there. The last thing I'll say on this is you have to understand that much like life, squad is a game of how you react to what's done. You can lay out an inch perfect plan, but if you can't adjust that plan when something doesn't go your way, you're likely to fail. Not to get all quotey here, but like Eisenhower said, plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Don't feel the need to stick to your plan because that's what you set out to do that game. It should change as the game changes around you. The next source of stress comes from your actual squad mates. Getting people in real life to listen can be a handful in and of itself, so trying to do the same thing in a video game can be even more daunting. The first thing you can do to prevent your squad from stressing you out too much is just make sure they have a microphone and are willing to communicate with the squad. Additionally, I will say I've had some incredible squad members in the past that were unable to use comms for one reason or another, but would still utilize the squad text chat. So for me, no mic doesn't always mean they're getting the boot, but most of the time it does. And like I just stated in my personal experience, if they don't have a mic and aren't willing to communicate, kick them. Don't feel bad about it or worry about repercussions. It's stated in OWI's policy that squad leaders can remove a member from their squad at any time for any reason. So if someone's going to deteriorate the capability or quality of your squad, remove them. The other main stressor that will come from your squad mates is from them not following orders and just doing their own thing. Again, consult the flowchart that leads you right back to, yep, you guessed it, kicking them. Now, I must add, don't go kicking teammates who aren't doing what you want when you haven't spoken in 10 minutes. It's your job to give orders and then reiterate those orders constantly so that there can be no question about what the squad's current mission is. But if you stated that your squad is staying back on defense and you have a squad member that decides he wants to join the attack because he's bored, cool, he can find a new squad. I know all this talk about kicking players sounds a bit ruthless because it's just a video game, but it's a game where a lot of people play because they desire a higher level of teamwork and communication. And if others don't align with that ideal, it saves you a whole lot of time and hair on your head to just remove them instead of trying again and again to tell them what to do when they clearly have zero intention of listening. The last source of stress we're going to touch on, since this video is starting to sound a little bit like a stress management course, is that comes from the overwhelming nature of all the comms coming into your headset. As a squad member, you have 2 channels, and you may think adding one more may not be a whole lot, but good lord can it be. Yes, some games command comms will be dead silent, and this section won't be applicable, but oftentimes the command channel can be an absolute cluster. There are settings that you can play with to alleviate some of this, like adjusting the overall volume or assigning different channels to a specific ear. Besides that, there honestly aren't many ways to alleviate the stress. The main thing you can do, and hopefully others will see your example and follow it, is to use the command channel only when necessary and use direct comms on every other occasion. Just in case someone watching doesn't know, direct comms is a one-on-one command channel between you and another squad leader. The default keybinds for these channels are the numbers on your numpad. So hitting the 3 key will open up a direct line to the Squad 3 SL where only they can hear you. You want to utilize direct comms whenever you're passing information that is only pertinent to one or a couple specific squads. Let's say you and Squad 5 are the only 2 squads defending and you spot a Logi setting up a new hab to your north. Instead of putting this information out to everyone, you can just direct comm Squad 5 and let them know the situation. Putting that transmission over the whole command channel can possibly lead to other squads misinterpreting the info and the intended squad not being able to hear what you said or know that it was directed to them. As for callouts over the entire command channel, keep it to things that affect everyone. The location of a tow fob, where a tank or IFE is set up, things like this that everyone will benefit from knowing. The next thing I'd like to touch on today is what it takes to keep your squad together as a cohesive unit and not get spread to the wind. This is something we have all seen in every round of squad ever. One or more squads that have fallen into complete disarray or never had any organization to begin with. It's a tall order keeping up to 8 people where you want them for a prolonged game, but there are a few things that any squad leader can do to help them fulfill this task. The first, the most important, and funnily enough, the easiest thing you can do to keep your squad cohesive is to simply talk. When you're in a period of downtime, have some fun banter with your teammates, and when you're in the thick of it, even if you don't have the slightest idea what to do, keep communicating to your squad. You do not have to be a skilled squad leader to simply speak, and communication in squad is infectious. You'll find the more you're actively communicating, the more your squad mates will reciprocate. The other big thing you can do, and this one is just as simple as the first, is give positive reinforcement to your squad. Your rifleman volunteers to make a Logi run. Thank him. Your anti-tank hits an incredible or even a simple tracking shot on the enemy tank. Praise him for doing so and get ammo to him so he can do it again. Your medic has been keeping your flank alive by getting everyone back up. Let them know how much of a positive role they're playing in the squad. This may sound corny or useless to some of you, but these simple actions will not only invigorate the squad to do better as a whole, but you also have people telling you how much they enjoyed the last round. At the end of the day, squad is just a game, and some people play games to escape whatever they may have going on in their lives. Treating them like shit and yelling at people won't get you far, and you'll likely finish that game with a whole lot less squad members than when you started. But if you give people a fun and positive experience, regardless if you won or lost, and regardless of your experience as a squad leader, you'll have people begging to play with you the next game or adding you on Discord so they can play with you another time. The last topic I want to cover in this video is something that has come up in a lot of my recent live commentaries, and that is squad leaders giving up midway through a game. With everything we've talked about thus far, most of you can probably infer that squad leading can and will be stressful, and doing so for an hour-long game can be mentally draining. But it's your job to do everything you can in your power to try and win. If you don't think you can last the full game, then don't squad lead. Nothing in squad is for certain, but abandoning a squad partway through a game and dumping SL on an unexpected squad member is a 99% effective method to ensure that squad achieves little to nothing that game. You do not have to be a strategic genius to come up with something when the game isn't going your way. If your team is getting rolled, go to main and get a defense set up on your first objective. If no attack seems to be working, then stop attacking. Games can be won by an effective defense, so don't take your squad on the attack just for shits and giggles. And the very last point I'm gonna make is you don't know how many tickets the enemy team has. Just because your team has a dwindling amount does not mean it's time to throw in the towel. Keep fighting and trying to win until the end, and you might be surprised at the results. I am hoping to make a long series of videos like this one covering the multitude of challenges that squad leaders face, both tactically and mentally. So if that's something you'd like to see more of, let me know by liking the video or leaving a comment down below. If you are thinking about taking on the squad leader role, but you're still unsure about a lot of the mechanics and basic strategies involved, check out this video right here where I cover all the things you need to get started in squad leading.